It's a year of decision in Livingston, California. On Wednesday, January 29th, 2020, the City Council, with Mayor Samra absent, voted to start the Proposition 218 process of raising water, garbage, and sewer rates. At stake is over $24 million in new wells, filtration systems, pipeline projects, all to address water quality problems Livingston has endured for years. Obvious problems like dirty-looking brown water and the not-so-obvious problems of toxins like arsenic and TCP. It's 2020 in Livingston, a year of decisions that will impact us for years to come. How much money does the city have? The next planning commissioner, the new Gallo development, and a few other things. City Council regular meeting agenda, February 18th, 2020. Closed session begins at 6 p.m. Open session begins at 7 p.m. Closed session will be the call to order and the roll call. Under the closed session, there is the conference with labor negotiation, and then also a conference on real property negotiation and the sale of city property. Regular meeting, regular call to order, pledge of allegiance, moment of silence, roll call, closed session announcements and changes to the agenda. Under awards, presentations, and proclamations, a presentation by Mayor Samra, recognition of Jasmine Alberto, Jesse Alberto, Jose Millan, and Phrabshan Mahal of the Livingston United FC. Announcements and reports. Public hearing, which is going to be basically about updating building codes. Citizens' comments, and then the consent agenda that has meeting minutes for January 21st and January 29th. Discussion and potential action items. Item number 6, the audit of the financial statements. And one of the questions we might have is how much of our TCP settlement money is left over. Item number 7 is the sale of property near the intersection of West Hammett and north of F Street. Item number 8, appointment to the Planning Commission. Item number 9, a professional service agreement about hiring a contractor to do the planning for a 35-acre site over on B Street. Here is an excerpt from the audit report, and I'm only going to focus on a couple of items. Number 1 being the water fund, and number 2 being the industrial wastewater fund, which has to do with the old industrial wastewater treatment plant that had been used by Foster Farms before they built their new one. You'll notice under the water fund, under cash and investments, there is close to $8 million in cash and investments in that fund. And in the industrial wastewater side, there's nothing. When we get down to the bottom, the restricted for capital improvements for the water fund is close to $7 million. And my understanding is that this represents the amount of the TCP settlement money that the city still has. You'll also notice in red, I highlighted a negative $1,073,000 and change, which means basically that industrial account is in the hole over $1 million. Now we're going to get into the staff report for the sale of property and look at a couple of things. This has to do with the intersection of West Hammett and north of F. the city had reached an agreement to sell the property to Castle Assets LLC, Diego Castillo, manager of the LLC, for $10,200. The firm owns the adjacent property and is looking at developing the site and would like to incorporate the additional property into the project. The city has reached an agreement to sell the property there again for $10,200, and that selling the property will generate additional revenue for the city's public works streets funds for purpose of addressing the needs of the proposed new fire station. Now we're going to get into the staff report on making an appointment to the Planning Commission. Planning Commissioner Adanan's Bath term on the Planning Commission ended in December. The City Council has the option to reappoint Commissioner Bath, appoint one of the two alternate commissioners, or advertise through the City Manager's office to attract applicants. In an effort to provide the Council complete options, staff also contacted alternate commissioners Jason Roth and Rapinder King to see if they were interested in the regular commission vacancy. Mr. Roth, who has served as an alternate member since April 2017, indicated an interest to be appointed to a regular 4-year term. Staff did not get a response from Mr. King, who has served as an alternate since May 7, 2019. On January 21, 2020, this issue was brought up to the Council for direction. Councilmember Kang requested the reappointment of Commissioner Bath be considered. Mayor Samra directed staff to bring this item to the Council meeting of February 4, 2020 for possible action. At the meeting of February 4th, Councilmember Baptista stated she would like time to review options for the appointment and requested to continue the item until February 18th, 2020 meeting. Council agreed to continue the item until February 18th. Professional Services Agreement between the City of Livingston and Segala Incorporated. SB2 is part of a 15-bill housing package aimed at addressing the state's housing shortage and high housing costs and increasing affordable housing stock. The planning grant program is to help streamline housing approvals and accelerate housing production. The City of Livingston applied for $160,000 in planning grant funds. The City of Livingston has been in discussion with the Gallo family to participate in a master plan of their 35-acre site on B Street for future housing. The city, working in partnership with the property owner, seeks to facilitate an infill urban village of mixed housing types consistent with State of California goals. The City of Livingston, working with the property owners and partners, seeks to conduct a specific plan for the site that will include varying housing types, public open space, trail, and bike ped connections, and will contain well over 500 units of housing, which will include affordable housing. The fiscal impact: there is no adverse fiscal impact to the City of Livingston. The City of Livingston was successful in its submission of the $160,000 SB2 grant application. These funds will be earmarked to pay for this professional development services agreement. Well, so what do you think? What do you think about all this? Leave me a note in the comments. If you're subscribed to the channel already, you might want to check and make sure you're still subscribed so you're notified whenever a new video goes live. And subscribe if you're new. Until next time, this is the Gardening Snail of Livingston, California, because not every critter is hiding under a rock.